Yeah, this is why in my tweet, you see these people are cowards now. You did a segment on AOC refusing to debate Marjorie Taylor Greene. Since when, as a worker movement, as a left movement, we supposed to be against the sharing of ideas? Like Lenin was a famous debate me bro. Like he loved to challenge people who misread Marx, who was getting revolutionary theory wrong, and to challenge liberal critics. Our job to spread our working class propaganda against this massive capitalistic propaganda campaign is to challenge their ideas directly. So you have AOC and Bernie Sanders in the squad that are essentially cowards who will never debate or defend their ideas. So imagine, and this is my tweet saying, imagine if Bernie, AOC, and Ro Khanna or any member of the NATO left, imagine Matt Duss, so I'm going to show you here very soon. Imagine Matt Duss and them debating Matt Gaetz on this issue. And now think about how fucked our Overton window is. Where in this debate, you're going to have Bernie, AOC, and the NATO left defend in debate against Matt Gaetz from the right, using neocon justifications against Matt Gaetz, the so-called far-right fascist who's advocating for peace and for fiscal responsibility on this issue. So imagine how bad the NATO left will look during this debate. This is why AOC don't want to debate Marjorie Taylor Greene. Because what should easily be an easy debate, they'll get called out for Ukraine war funding. She'll call AOC out for her hypocrisy regarding funding Ukraine weapons, despite being a climate activist. Remember that Twitter burn that AOC never responded to when Marjorie Taylor Greene was like, what is the carbon emissions for that Ukraine war package that you voted for? How does AOC respond to that?
This is why I say it's optics. Look, optics would be terrible. This is the reason why, Nick. And you're pointing out this is the point that I didn't think of, and when I was talking about the same sort of issue, like I didn't think of this, but the optics would look terrible. That the left person would essentially be arguing the reactionary position, the warmonger position, and that's where we're at right now.
Position. They will be arguing the Mike Pompeo position. Meanwhile, Matt Gaetz will be arguing the Lula position. Matt Gaetz will be arguing the position of the global proletariat. 80% of the working class is not for this. 80% of the global population is not for this. And you have AOC, Bernie, and the NATO left arguing Mike Pompeo's, Anthony Blinken's position. Matt Gaetz arguing Lula's position. Like, you guys see how crazy the political Overton window is right now in discourse? And this confusion is by design. They try and sow confusion. That's why Matt Gaetz is allowed to do this.
Yeah, align what should be happening, align what a true anti-war person should be advocating for, and align that with the people we have labeled as crazy. The Marjorie Taylor Greenes, the Matt Gaetz. That's essentially what they're doing. Go ahead, Nick.
So let's do this is Matt Gaetz and Lula in 80% of the world versus the NATO left versus Matt Duss. Because I'm gonna show you got Lula trending right now. I see a video that we're probably gonna watch blind, which is kind of risky, but the video with Lula's going off on his Western criticism, why he advocates for peace. He's trending all over Twitter right now because he went to the White House, and he like, yo, no, we should be advocating for peace right now. He had a meeting with the Germany chancellor, and they got into a heated debate. I broke it down on Jimmy, where you had Lula was like, we are going to be neutral. We don't care if you're upset about it. What you guys are doing is unhinged. We should be advocating for peace instead of war. You want me to condemn Russia? Yes, I did it. Oh, I condemn Russia. Then now what? Are we advocating for peace? Which is some people disagree with that, but I see what Lula's doing tactically, right? So I can use strategy. Like I'm a tactician, I think, right? So Lula, he's like, I'm gonna condemn the Russian invasion, which some people are upset about. But he said, I'm gonna put that off the table so the West can't even use that against me. Because if he doesn't say that, then the West can spend all their time saying Lula is a Russian puppet. Lula is a Russian puppet. Mm-hmm. But Lula's like, no, all right, I condemn Putin and what he does for the Russian invasion, but now I condemn you guys for not seeking peace. Now what? And they can't deal with that argument, which is actually a great chess move on behalf of Lula. But if you do want to, if you want to criticize him for critiquing the invasion,
yeah.
But I think I see the chess move that he's doing. But now compare his position, compare the position of Matt Gaetz and everyone who is having lost their damn mind, right? That's against escalating war against the nuclear power versus Matt Duss. Matt Duss, who was Bernie Sanders' foreign policy advisor.
That is just a joke, man. How is that even possible? Now, Nick, hold on before you play it.
Go ahead.
I must say, we did a segment on Matt Duss.
Yep.
We posted a video. We tagged him. He blocked us.
Oh,
he looked at the title and blocked the account and blocked the main RBA. Like, you know how we post the graphic and we tagged him. We tagged Marianne Williamson when she appeared. Like, we tagged him. He was the topic of the segment. Blocked us. Went back and it was like,
that's why you know he's not good faith. You would think,
yeah,
that he would see these black hoodlums talking about foreign policy. What are your credentials? You would think he's like, I'm gonna go on there and school these kids that have no idea what they're talking about. No, he blocks us. Why would he do that if he's a good faith actor?
That to me tells me that the critique, and it was something like Matt Gaetz, like it was a pretty good title. The critique, he just said, "Oh, these guys know too much. I don't even need to engage." He was just like, "I don't even need to engage with this shit." Oh, they know this. Oh, man, I don't even need to engage.
I didn't know he blocked me. Oh, that makes my day.
Yeah, he just blocked us just from that. Like, we didn't even say nothing. We didn't engage. I didn't say nothing bad. It was the title of the video, and he was tagged. And then he just blocked us right. He blocked us right off of that. But go ahead.
I don't want to be like the Vanguard where people go look. They like, man, I know I'm gonna get an easy interview on the Vanguard. I know I'm gonna get an easy interview over here. We want the ruling class to be terrified of us. Where Matt Duss not even gonna try to come on and spread that bullshit. After Marianne Williamson, no one gonna even try to spread that bullshit. And that's why I want. We're not access journalists here. The fact that Matt Duss had to block us instead of defending his
just off a title,
says everything.
That's just so weak.
It shows everything about the professional managerial class. They have all your credentials, but they can't argue their position. I went on the Hill and debunked their bullshit rhetoric on Venezuela. I went on Destiny, who's a giant liberal streamer, destroyed his argument on U.S. and Russia. But these professional managerial class people can't defend their ideology to a college dropout. They can't defend their ideology to Marjorie Taylor Greene. They scared of Nick Cruz and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Does that show how weak the NATO left is?
Let me read what it says, Nick, before you go. So this is what it says. This is the title that he blocked this. Anna Kasparia, Simps for Bernie Sanders neocon foreign policy advisor, Matt Duss. And he blocked. That's okay. Okay, so maybe that's why he blocked. So we call him a neocon foreign policy advisor.
Hey, man, you are where you are, bro. Don't be. Look at what he says right now. Look at what he says on Democracy Now! You want to tell me this guy not neocon? Like, listen to this. And I'm playing this before we get after the Matt Gaetz headline. So you see how you have the right that is having the position the left should have on calling for ending the funding the military industrial complex, calling for oversight. Now the progressive left position is no oversight on weapons. The fuck? The fuck? Like, how does that make sense? So anyway, let's watch the video. I'd rather double check than have the audio mess up. So I'm gonna set the video up, and then it's only a minute, so we can let it play through, and then we can come in with some critiques. I think that would work.
Yeah, sure.
Your assessment of U.S. policy when it comes to Ukraine.
I think actually the president's version of it there, it tracks with the facts. I think the administration, as my colleague Stephen and I wrote in the piece that you referenced, the way the president has helped manage alliances and partnerships in response to Russia's invasion of last February, I think has been impressive. I think it shows a way of practicing U.S. leadership that forges consensus and then mobilizes that consensus. I mean, the war obviously is devastating. It is ongoing. We would like to see the war end as soon as possible, but I think being realistic about when that is possible is part of the challenge we face right now. I think Putin has given no evidence whatsoever that he's interested in a workable resolution of this conflict. I think he and the Russians and the Ukrainians at this point both seem to believe that they can continue to achieve their goals through military means. So for the time being, I think the administration's theory of the case is sound, which is that they'll continue to support Ukraine's defense to create the best possible moment or the best possible environment for negotiations. When that becomes,
this is
Nick.
This was I'll get you in here. This is Matt. This is Bernie Sanders' foreign policy advisor, dude. This guy who is now his job is to be PR for Biden. Because I'm gonna show you guys Lula, what he had to say, the criticism of 80% of the world's population, which shows what he's saying is bullshit. Where he said Biden has done a great job coalescing our allies. You mean Biden isolated us from the rest of the world? That is what he has done. He isolated us in a way that liberals said Trump would do. Like, you have Saudi Arabia, you have India, you have Africa that is now rejecting the United States and now looking for alternative trade policy. And you have South Africa doing military drills with Russia. You got Lula that is now willing to expand BRICS, an alternative system from SWIFT that is run by the United States and its allies. What Matt Duss said, everything he says, period, is the opposite of reality. He said Biden did a good job uniting our world allies. No, he pushed people away and turned everyone who stayed with them to a glorified United States colony. What he is saying here is unbelievable. And this is a minute and 20 seconds that I struggled too. Because everything he's saying is wrong. It's propaganda. And which is why I said in my original tweet, can you imagine this war simp, this war pig, Matt Duss, debating even Matt Gaetz on this issue? The same way that Matt Gaetz destroyed TYT, he will make someone as unserious as Matt Gaetz look good. Imagine this deeply unserious moron debating anyone who knows any history about Ukraine. We already saw. This is Aaron Mate. I'll read this tweet. I'll give your thoughts on this. And then I'm going to get to some other receipts here. Aaron Mate say, on Democracy Now!, progressive proxy warrior. I love that. The progressive proxy warrior. Matt Duss calls Biden-Ukraine policy an impressive display of U.S. leadership, ignoring many sources like the Israeli prime minister on how NATO blocked peace. Duss says there's no evidence that Russia wants a workable solution. Once again, he just straight up, flat out lying to you guys.
And several people in the audience got the same reaction. I think I said this in another stream because we've covered him twice, and this is the third time we've covered him, Matt Duss. I said in the stream, and let me put this up. Yeah, I said before, like, this guy gives me a total alphabet crew vibe, like he's part of some group, FBI, CIA. Because what is the big thing now? To be a leftist, that's like the end thing. Yeah. So everybody projects from Pelosi to Hillary Clinton. I'm a progressive, because that's the only way to sell something. Young people ain't trying to hear none of this shit if you ain't saying I'm progressive or I'm some sort of leftist or left-leaning or something like that. So it's like so this guy is completely created, Matt Duss, as a left, and he just wanted that on his credentials. Why do they keep introducing him like that when he got other credentials?
Yes.
That's purposely introducing him. Bernie Sanders, this is the left person. As he tells us all this neocon shit. I thought I put this up on the screen earlier, and I just realized I had it on a different one. So for earlier, when I referred to it and I read it, this is the actual graphic where he blocked us, and you can see where he's tagged here.
Yeah, so and the question after this, which should be obvious, right, is how did this guy get chosen as Bernie Sanders' foreign policy advisor? What was that about? Was that because I assume because they were friends, or did the establishment say, "Hey, this is your foreign policy advisor"? Either way, that's literally you guys realize that's the best case scenario for Bernie, right? The best case scenario that explains Bernie's decision is that establishment say, "Hey, this is your guy." The best for Bernie to explain Matt Duss is literally a conspiracy theory. So other than that, Bernie always planned on being part of the war machine. They was never serious about it. Which
In a professional
however,
managerial class, because he is the messiah of the professional managerial class. And what do we always say about them? They're willing to sell your ass out. And
do it quick.
Bernie is the same one. So what they do is this. Look, they go like this, and this is what the profession people who have their needs met, who's not being brutalized by the police state or imperialism, they go, man, I know these capitalists ain't gonna let us get all of this and free this and stop the bomb. So I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go with them with this and get the best I can get with the rest of the shit. Marianne Williamson does this too. That's the deal they make.
Yep.
That's the deal they make. We're gonna go ahead and do this war stuff, because if we don't go with war stuff, we can't do nothing else, because they're gonna shut us out completely. They're gonna make us Ralph Nader. So we go with the war stuff so that we can get this other stuff through. That's why the nuance is on Israel. That's why there's nuance on Ukraine. You know what I mean? It's like they have chosen, they've said, we are not going to fight that fight. Sorry, guys.